Hello guys. So I've always wanted to review. Oh, I have a blanket covering up the vent because it won't shut up. I don't know how to turn it off. The vent, that's so loud. But yeah, today I'm going to be reviewing some Bendy merchandise for the first time. I've always wanted to review some Bendy merchandise, but I never really did it since I've always kind of done FNAF, but thought, I'd try it out. And I thought I'd start off, there's a new wave of construction sets. These just showed up at GameStops, in-store only. You can't order them online. But these just kind of showed up at GameStop out of nowhere, and I am here today to review them. So, nobody seems to really know about these, but they do exist, and they are pretty cool. I do think they're cool. So, it looks like, since PhatMojo here, toy company that makes bendy stuff, it looks like they're changing the style of their construction sets. So, to go along with that, they also remade their bendy sets. So, this basically covers all of the characters that were in the first wave of their construction sets. So, yeah, pretty cool in my opinion. So today I'm going to be reviewing these. I did not pick up the whole set. There is Alice, Bendy, Boris, Ink Bendy, and Sammy Lawrence. I did not pick up Alice and Bendy because they do come in another set. They come in this giant Heavenly Toys display set that also comes with a searcher. So I'm going to be picking up that set, and that's when I'm going to review these figures. I'm going to make a second video on this topic, but yeah. For now, I'm just going to be reviewing the micro sets with all the unique characters from the micro sets. But yeah, but these ones, I guess, just exist in case someone just wants Bendy or just wants Alice. They have the option to get that. So, yeah. I'm going to be reviewing these and comparing them to the old figures later in the video. So, let's begin. Let's pick which one. Eeny, meeny, miny, Boris. Note on the packaging, they're not that hard to open, but this top is very cheaply made. But again, I'm going to talk about the packaging real quick. So you got like a little gear in the background, which is pretty cool. You got the little tapes with little snapshots from the cartoons, which is actually pretty cool. I like this box design. Alright, so the box is packaged like this. There's a little plastic slip inside that holds the figure. And then there's this big cardboard piece that separates the figure from the rest of it. And the cardboard piece also has that little gear artwork. So that's pretty cool. This is not grime. That's actually printed on with the design. You can see like the pixels in it. It's very low quality print, but hey, it's pretty cool. The gear is not low quality though. But yeah, that's not scuffs or anything. That's just part of the design. It's supposed to look like dusty because bendy, but yeah. There's a little cardboard slip that's there to separate things. Nothing too interesting. And then if we go inside the box, you got all the pieces, and you got the instructions. Oh, not even a manual. It's just a big piece of paper. It's kind of weird. It's blue. Huh. This is a pretty weird instruction, but I'll definitely talk about it more after I build it. And yeah, then the box is empty. These are $8 each, so from what I'm seeing, they seem pretty worth that price. You get a figure, you get a little base for them. I think that price is pretty fair for these. And the big set is like $30, and it comes with 3 figures, so in a big set, so that's a pretty good deal. These are pretty fairly priced for what they are. They're not the highest of quality, but their price also accommodates for that. Alright, so I've completed building the set. So let's talk about these instructions. So, on construction set, on the standards of these kind of sets, I'd give this like a 4 out of 10. You know, instructions are never that great on PhatMojo stuff. They just aren't that good at it. But, you know, the clutch power on the pieces is actually pretty good. But, I'll talk about the set later in like a minute. Let me just rant about this manual. So, first of all, you got the little artwork, fine. Find the pieces for each step. Faded colors indicate whatever. So, by faded, they mean bright gray. And here you see, put them down. Alright. Seems simple enough. That page was fine. I had no trouble with it. Then you get to this page. All right, it does tell me, but I guess I'm just stupid. I legitimately thought they didn't even put that in the manual. I'm dumb. I'm just stupid. But as you can see here, you got the Heavenly Toys playset that I am going to be getting and reviewing later in a future video. And then you got advertisements for the plushies. I only got that plushie, but might get Sammy eventually. Then you got all these figures. I only got these 3. And then Bendy. Now, I won't be talking about manuals again, unless there's another big problem, but whatever. Let's talk about the actual set. So, first of all, with the set... Oh, frick. First of all, with the set, what is this? What is this supposed to be? Is this even from the game? What am I looking at? Like, that's the biggest issue with the set. I don't know what this is. Like, what did I just build? I don't think anybody knows what this is. Nobody does. This doesn't make sense. This isn't a thing from Bendy. Like, I guess it looks like it's from Bendy. It's got the color scheme, but besides that, it's really just nothing. This is nothing. I guess it's supposed to go this way, but like, what are you supposed to do with it? You're supposed to like, is Boris supposed to be walking out of there? Is it a door? Is it a... Oh, I think I just figured it out. Maybe this is the elevator. I mean, it's a very small elevator. He can't even fit in it, but I think this might be the elevator. Maybe it would be nice if they said what it was on the box, but, you know, this might be the elevator. Because it's got, like, the little gears on top. It's got, like, the cage things. It's got the door. I'm thinking this could possibly be the elevator, but at the same time, I honestly have no idea. This is a very weird-looking set. But besides questionable build, let's talk about Boris, the real reason you buy this. So, first of all, with these new style figures, no knee joints, which was like the main thing I liked about the old ones. But in return for that, you get elbow joints, which is actually very cool. It's on like a ball joint. It doesn't pop out too easily. It's pretty durable. Pieces are pretty small though, so if they do pop out, be careful. But yeah, I do quite like this new style of characters. As for Boris himself, I'm gonna have to say, not comparing him to the old figure yet, I think this is a pretty decent take on Boris. He's got a fairly long neck, which is strange, but I guess it makes sense since his head is high enough, which is actually a pretty good design choice. This bib piece likes to go off to the side, kind of, like it's very easy to just flip to that side, so be careful about that. It doesn't quite connect to the pants of the overalls, but it's okay. There's no printing on the back for the back stripes of his overalls too, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, there's just completely hollow legs on the back, which is pretty weird. His feet go like this. They're just like, they kind of just slide into the pieces. I'm not a Lego nerd, but I'm pretty sure those are called anti-studs. He's got his little cheeks. His head is pretty, I feel like his cheeks are like not out far enough. And his head is also like, his cheeks stick out the back. Like it's pretty weird how it looks. But from the front or from the side angle or from like the profile, he looks pretty good. This is a pretty good Boris. Pretty solid. I do think this is a good figure. Just definitely could be better, especially with this bib piece. I see what they were going for. They were going for the McFarlane thing, but I don't think they really accomplished it that well. But overall, Boris with the elevator, ? I would rate this set a solid 6.5 out of 10. Definitely could be better, but you can't really get mad at Boris. Next up, we got Sammy Lawrence. Here's everything he's packaged with. He comes with the base plate, the figure, a little sticker sheet, which is neat. He comes with an instruction manual, another cardboard slip, and the pieces. Alright, so no complications with the manual. Overall, pretty good. Same thing as the other one with everything else. And the instructions were a little bit more clear. But yeah, let's talk about this set. So let's start off with the set itself. you get this little room. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like in chapter 5 with like the Lost Ones area where there's like all those houses and stuff. Kind of wish there was a door here because none of the Lost Ones places are actually open. Or I at least wish this was like the thing where it says like where it says not monsters, like that thing. I wish it was at least had that big sign, but you know, it's fine. This is neat. I like how they did the floor. Nice how they use the tiles to like the boards. It's nice, even though the area it's in doesn't have boards. And yeah, so they obviously had some inspiration from the McFarlane sets, but yeah. It's actually quite big compared to how it looked on the image, but yeah. And then these are my biggest problem. These stickers, it's not the fact that they're stickers. I don't really mind stickers that much, but my biggest issue with this is the colors. Come on. Could you not have, like, just taken, like, 3 seconds in Photoshop and, like, edited them into being more yellow? Because this just doesn't clash. It's not even in the same color scheme. Like, the prints are good. Actually, no, they're not. They're pretty low quality, but whatever. It's just, I wish it would kind of fit the color scheme, because it doesn't fit the color scheme at all. And also, the image on the box shows it, so as you can see in the manual, this poster, or this piece, whatever this is, this hole in the wall, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. I'm going to call it a poster. This poster is supposed to have, like, a big slash in it, but it doesn't on the actual set. So that's just a pretty minor issue. Nothing really too major. But let's talk about the real reason you buy this. You buy it for Sammy. Let's talk about him. So let's look at Sammy. So first of all, let's talk about his head sculpt. I actually like how they stylized him. I know a lot of people wouldn't, but I think he looks decent. If anything, I think he looks a little too friendly. Like, maybe his mask isn't scratched up enough or something like that, but he looks a little too friendly. His head is also like a perfect sphere, which is kind of strange. But his band is nice. It's even got some little texture on it, which is pretty cool. His pants are fine. Pretty sure that's the exact same print from their old Sammy. I guess we'll find out later when we compare them. He's got his overall straps. And yeah, pretty decent Sammy. My only complaint is the gloves. He does not have gloves in the game. The old figure had gloves too, so they didn't fix that. But besides that, pretty solid figure of Sammy. And I think he's a good reason to buy this. You know, I think he's pretty cool. I think he's well designed. But sadly, the mask is not removable. If we look at the back of the box, you can see that Bendy, and I'm pretty sure Boris and Alice too, are based off of how they looked in the cartoons and like the little animations in the game and on YouTube. They're meant to look like that. So when you take that into consideration, this design for his face actually makes a lot of sense. And the design for Bendy, you know, it looks exactly like he does in those little animations. You can even see it a little bit in the box, like you can see him back there. It looks like that version of Bendy, not the actual version of Bendy. So I like that change of I like that style. I think that's a good stylistic choice for these kind of things. So yeah, I think it's a good idea not to have the play sets or the construction sets in the exact same style as the action figures. So I'm glad they made some kind of stylistic change. Now let's move on to my favorite set out of this wave, or at least what I think will be my favorite set, Ink Bendy. I like Ink Bendy. I think he's a pretty spooky dude. I like him a lot. So let's see if I like his figure too. Same situation as Sammy. In the box, you got pieces, some stickers, a manual, and a set. And a figure. Alright, so I have completed building the set. This set was pretty basic to build. No real problems with the instructions. Overall, pretty simple set. Definitely the smallest. Like, the other ones have, like, 48 to 50. But this one has 33. So, definitely a much smaller compared to the other sets. But I think that has to do with this figure that we will talk about later. But let's talk about the actual set. So, this lever was awful to put together. I actually put it in, and the peg piece went too far, so then it wouldn't come back out. I literally tried pliers to pull it back out, and it would not come out. So instead of putting it back in the right way, I just... Sorry about that. Sorry it cut off. My phone actually ran out of storage, so I had to go delete some stuff. So I'm back. So yeah, this wouldn't come back out after I pushed it in too far by accident, so I had to actually glue it back on together, so the lever doesn't move, which kind of sucks, but, you know, whatever. Got this little barrel, which I'm pretty sure is just a direct copy of a Lego piece. No changes at all. Got this main power sticker, pretty nice. You got this low pressure sticker. Again, these stickers actually fit the color schemes of the set, so I don't know what the heck happened with the Sammy set. These ones are also high resolution, too, so I also don't know what happened with the Sammy set. But, yeah, overall, nice little set. Nothing too interesting. Pretty much just pretty basic for Ink Bendy, I think. Like, I think it would have been way cooler if it came as something like his throne, for example. That would have been pretty cool if it came as his throne, but, yeah. That's not the reason you buy it, though. You buy it for the figure. Let's talk about the figure. Alright, so let's talk about Ink Bendy. I personally think he is the best figure in all these construction sets, and I don't think Alice or Bendy or the Searcher are going to change my mind about that. I think this figure is pretty dang good. So, first of all, he's got his little printed twisty bow tie, which is very nice. He's got his gloves. I kind of wish one of his hands was bigger than the other, and one of them was black, but that's kind of a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. I also kind of wish he had, like, melty feet. That's kind of not really a nitpick. That's kind of one of his features. They should have added that. They should have made his feet, like, little, I don't know, should have just give him little flat feet instead of actual feet, because he doesn't actually have feet. But, yeah. Then his face is very detailed. It's actually molded in, like it's not just printed on. It's 3D molded in, and it kind of looks like it fits in there like a puzzle piece, which is pretty neat looking. It definitely stands out more in person, but you can kind of see it on camera. He's got, like, all these little melty details. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but he does have a lot of detail on his head, of little melty pieces and stuff. His horns look very nice. Overall, just a very nice figure of Ink Bendy. I really don't have many complaints about him. I really like him, especially the head. He's a very nice figure. Definitely my favorite out of today. But, yeah. Ink Bendy and the pump switch. Sammy and the Lost Ones area, question mark. Boris and the elevator, question mark. Alright, so... overall, would I recommend these sets? Yes. Because they do... okay, I know I kind of complained about them a little bit, but you get what you pay for. These are pretty cheap sets. They're not very expensive. So, that in return, you don't get a very expensive looking set. But for what they are pretty dang good. Definitely nowhere near the level of McFarlane or Lego, but... definitely pretty good for what they are, especially for the price. Like, they're pretty cheap, so I definitely recommend them for the price they're being sold at. And that big set, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So McFarlane figures scale with Lego figures, so let's see if these Bendy figures scale with Lego figures and scale with Freddy figures. Alright, so Lego minifigures. I don't think they scale too well, but... well, actually, no, I think Ink Bendy scales pretty well, but with Boris and Sammy, I think they're way too big. And then with FNAF figures, same situation. I think Ink Bendy scales pretty well, but the other ones are definitely too big. Alright, so now we're going to be comparing the old ones to the updated version, so... let's start off with Boris. Alright, so here's the new Boris, and here's the original Boris. So, as you can see, the newer one has a completely different body style, obviously, but The printing on the torso and the legs is also different. It's not quite as clear and close in color to the legs as it was on this one. Oh, shoot. But it's still not that bad. So, like, obviously a big change is the bib piece addition, which does put this little gap between the torso, and it's much more noticeable than the gap on the old one, because this one did not have the bib piece, it just had printing. So that's a downside in my opinion, but not that big of a deal. The knee printing is, I'd say it's a little bit better. And the torso printing, I think I like how the old one looked better. I think I like what they were going for on the old one a lot better. I think this one looks better with the torso print, but I do think the head on the new one is much better. His cheeks aren't awkwardly shoving out to the front. They're actually on the side, how they're supposed to. He's got his jaw, and unlike the old one where he just doesn't have a mouth. His ears are much more rounded and shaped. And overall, I'm just going to have to say, point goes to the new one. Alright, so now Sammy Lawrence. This is definitely the biggest change between figures. As you can see, here's the new Sammy, and here's the original Sammy. So, the leg print is almost identical. Like, it's still got the weird little thing on his pants, and it's still got the ink on the bottom. It's basically just a redraw of the exact same thing. So, nothing really notable changed on the leg print, but the new one is definitely taller. But then the torso print, the new one, his overall straps are much bigger and closer together, and the stripes on them are a little bit different on the new one. The arms are obviously different. He actually doesn't have black hands. I just swapped him out for some black Lego hands when I got him because I didn't like it. But he did also have the gloves on the original, so both of them have gloves, which is disappointing, but yeah. And then the biggest change is the head sculpt. So, as you can see, for this new one, they went for a unique design, a new stylized design, which I honestly, at first I was kind of iffy about it, but it's grown on me. And then here you got the original design where they literally just printed Sammy's face onto the figure. So, you have to say, this one gets an A for effort, and this one this one's just not as good. But then, this is the first one we're going to flip around, because there is a lot of changes on the back, too. So, as you can see here, the new one, they scaled up his head much bigger, and they made his strap much more big and detailed. I'm pretty sure they scaled up his head just to fit the style of these new figures. These are obviously stylized, these new ones, but I do like it. His head is a lot bigger, although it is just a normal sphere, which is kind of weird. And then the old one had a more shapen head, a more human-looking head, and the strap was kind of more realistic, but the mask was pretty huge, so that's kind of an issue I have with the old one. The mask is way too big for the scale of his head, but I'm still going to have to give this one to the new one, since I just like how they stylized the new one. I think he looks really good. So yeah, Sammy. And now the final figure we're going to be comparing, Ink Bendy. This is definitely the biggest leap in quality. As you can see, the old Ink Bendy, same deal, black legs, black torso, printed on twisted bow tie. Although the new one has a noticeably more floppy looking bow tie, unlike the original where it's a lot more puffy looking. So his is obviously more accurate because his bow tie is a lot more flopped down like it should be. Hands are still just plain yellow hands. I kind of wish they made one of his hands bigger than the other on the new one. I feel like that would have been a good change, but whatever. It's still good. I still think the body on both of them looks pretty good, but I definitely prefer the new body style just for how unique they are. I'm glad PhatMojo is going for something unique, because these are basically just definitive little Lego knockoff. But the head mold is definitely better. As you can see, the old headphone head mold is very glossy, and it's very reflective and makes it kind of look cheap, but this new one has a more matte finish, which I think looks much better, especially for, I don't know, I just think it looks better. Probably not for Ink Bendy, but I still think it looks better. And then his face is, on the new one, it is actually molded in. So, and his smile is much bigger, and his head mold is completely unique. And then on the old one, he just reuses the original Bendy head mold, just with the ink on it. And his mouth is also much smaller, which it definitely is way too small on this figure. So, yeah, huge improvement. I love the new head mold. That's probably the thing that just makes me love the new one. But yeah, overall, this new Bendy construction set toy line just seems like a big improvement over the old ones, and I'm excited to get the big set, and I'm excited to see if they make any new waves in the future and what those will have.